Right, welcome to the Bedford Sixth Form Christmas debate. We've got representatives here from the Debating Society. We meet on Monday lunchtimes, I think, Monday lunchtimes. And we debate various different topics throughout the year, so it depends on the members choosing what we debate, and I think we just have a bit of fun and stuff like that. We've put together this debate for you today, and the motion is, this House believes that Christmas does more harm than good. And I'll just talk you through quickly how it's going to work. So we've got the introductions, the team's going to debate, and then we're going to open it up to the audience, and we're going to have a question and answer session with the audience with replies from the teams, and then the audience is going to vote on who they think won, and then it's going to be the judges' final decision on who won the debate. I should introduce to you who we've got today. I'm Chris. On this side of the argument we've got Dom, Megan and Medina, and on this side we've got Jamie, Amber and Ivan. Okay, so I'll hand you over to Dom with the proposition.
The proposal today, ladies and gentlemen, is that the celebration of Christmas is more damaging to society than its benefits can justify. Christmas is defined in this instance by the customs and socio-economic behaviours surrounding the Christian religious holiday developed in Western society before becoming ever increasingly ingrained on a global scale, the so-called Christmas culture. Christmas is no longer a celebration of the birth of the epitome of moral righteousness, Jesus Christ. It has been warped into the grossly immoral and exploitative paragon of mindless postural consumerism it is today. The true cost of this supposed holy festival is evident in the millions of children forced to work producing consumer goods in sweatshops in third world countries. It is evident in the thousands of working families who have had to succumb to Christmas pressure, being forced to take out illegitimate loans and watching their debts and their lives spiral out of control. All this to line the pockets of giant multinational corporations, the primary beneficiaries of this season, who've exploited the religious holiday in order to profit from the weakness and gullibility of consumerist society. Why should we continue to recognise this distorted husk of a tradition in its current form, when the babe in the manger has become the babe in lingerie up on a neon-studded billboard? Why should this culture feel obligated to celebrate this bonanza of insidious corporate greed? It is crucial that we break free from this farce.
We accept that the definition of Christmas in this terms is the festivities that were originating from the religious holiday but have now developed into something a bit more, into a season of compassion, caring and charity. And we believe that Christmas does benefit more than cause harm. We believe that regarding the economy, Christmas provides a huge economic boost to countries almost throughout the world that celebrate this tradition, and we believe that it reinforces values of compassion, giving, caring, charity. For example, charities at this time massively increase the money they manage to make. Regarding your points about sweatshops and Christmas forcing sweatshops, I wouldn't say that the abolition of Christmas or not celebrating Christmas is going to automatically mean sweatshops don't exist anymore. Unfortunately, that's a problem with the whole of capitalist society, not at all Christmas. And as for forced loans for people buying presents for their children and so on, Christmas doesn't obligate you to overspend yourself, but it's more encouragement and produces financial inducements like sales on Boxing Day for people to spend money. And so there's no obligation, it's your choice. And if you have children demanding excessive presents, then that's your fault in raising them to expect so much, rather than society forcing you to buy expensive goods. We also think that Christmas has contributed greatly to the cultural scene, literature like A Christmas Carol, the arts. I mean, who doesn't like the film Elf or Home Alone 2? Then, of course, the Christmas music genre. I'm not a huge fan, but there you go. And many other things as well. So we feel that Christmas overall does benefit more than reduces harm.
Okay, so before I read mine, I just want to address a couple of things that Ivan said. I think that it's fine to look at Christmas on the scale, on a national scale, and say that it can bolster our economy. But when you look on an individual scale, we can see that there are families who do actually feel that pressure that you were saying. No one has to buy presents, but people do feel that social. No. People do feel that social pressure to provide for not only their family but friends as well. And if people buy a gift for you, you feel the pressure to return the favour. And no matter whether it's an obligation or not, it's a very real pressure that people deal with. Okay, I have 2 points. No, thank you. I have 2 points to make, and the first relates to the thoughts of John Stuart Mill, a philosopher who believed that there was such a good thing as higher pleasures and lower pleasures which were bad. In order to better ourselves as human beings, he believed that we should pursue higher pleasures to enrich our minds and our souls. One example he gave as a higher pleasure was music and the arts. Of course, music is a part of the general festivities and celebration, as Ivan mentioned, that we associate with Christmas, but in a form that may be considered somewhat cheapened and commercialised.
Point of clarification? Isn't every festival, every festivity that you have, every time music is involved, it's always going to be regarded in some format as cheap or whatever you
I'll come
going to say?
because I have some stats. But so when you look at the stats on YouTube for how often people view Christmas songs and music, you can see that they only go up at the Christmas time of year, which makes sense. But from that, we can infer that it's not something that we seek out at any time of the year. It's not that type of music is just cheap and it doesn't have any meaning. So we don't seek it out at any time of the year other than at Christmas. No. Okay, cool. I only have 3 minutes.
Is this not subjective?
Yeah, but if it's subjective and the stats back it up, like most people must hold the same subjective point of view. Anyway. My second point, the growth of our nation's minds could be at serious detriment due to this cheapened and commercialised media spewed out by producers who are nothing more than profit-driven magnates of the capitalist state. My second point draws your attention to the millions of young people all over the UK forced to participate in nativity shows and festive activity in school, regardless of their cultural and religious beliefs and background. In a country so racially and culturally diverse, where less than 2/5 of the population identify as Christians, the "this is a Christian country" argument is a poor cover-up for what is nothing more than religious narcissism. With Islamophobia prevalent everywhere in the UK, it's not uncommon to hear complaints from Christians who appear to be threatened by the Muslim population of the UK, simply practicing their religion. Yet, how many young Muslim children will be forced to worship a God they don't believe in, under the guise of it being simple tradition? Not only does the lack of state recognition for non-Christian religious holidays create a harmful social order of prioritising Christianity, it also creates pressure on especially young, impressionable, non-Christian children to associate with British culture.
Okay, I'm going to focus on the part of Christmas which encourages people to love and care, and this is seen through the amount of charity which occurs during the holiday season. Charity increases by 42% at Christmas time. Oxfam, where Ivan works, they normally take in 200 to 400 on a Saturday, however last Saturday it took him £1,000. Last year's Ebola crisis, Band-Aid 30 raised more than 1.5 billion. According to the Network for Good, in 2014, 31% of all giving occurred in December, which is the Christmas time. And supermarket customers have donated a record number of 3.7 billion meals to struggling families this Christmas alone. It's clear that the tradition of giving during Christmas has a significant impact and it has increased the donations.
Point of information.
No.
Go on.
No.
Go on.
So I'm asking, how does that do more harm than good? With the
was
Is that a genuine question?
I have an answer for that. So there's been a lot of cases in recent years with the Salvation Army, who are obviously known as being people give money to the Salvation Army at Christmas. It's kind of tradition. But there's been a lot of scandals where they've refused to give aid to gay people and LGBT people.
How can one charity represent all charities?
Well, I'm just giving a point. She asked us.
That's quite biased.
Well, yeah, maybe. But it's kind of to assume that all charities are only using the money for good is like uninformed, because we can see that there are cases of exploitation.
But that's not representative as a
It's
whole.
not representative as a whole. Like,
Well, so it should be ignored, the fact that there are charities out there who are using the
should be
means
noted, but we should.
Yeah, my second point is that the commercialisation of Christmas hasn't actually done more harm than good. I wouldn't say it's done more good than harm, probably done more harm than good. It simply just generalises the holiday so that it can be celebrated both religiously and non-religiously. So it's done religiously through church services and non-religiously through giving time to charity and spending time with family. And it's evolved to a more cultural event focused on joy and giving rather than a strict religious observance. So I don't see how that causes more harm than good. And then to just address your point on children in nativities and whatnot, 60% of children in school don't do nativities based on the Christian value of Christmas anymore.
To address Cheney's point about nativity, obviously during Christmas, and there are other holidays going on such as Hanukkah and Diwali and sometimes Ramadan, you don't usually see children being taught about their religions, and it just makes Christianity look like a more special religion. During Christmas...
Well, you said that you don't see much learning about Diwali and whatnot. It is a Christian country. We're known as a Christian country.
I dress that way.
A recent BBC report suggested that roughly 50% of people in the UK don't identify as religious. 60% of those people are Christian, meaning 40% of people do have other religions such as Islam. So does that mean that if 60%, like if 20 more percent of people are really like not Christians, then we should be teaching children about Christianity. I think Christmas should be focused on Christian principles, even though it's becoming so secular now. We need to stand back and see all the possibilities and all the good that can be done through Christmas, rather than the mass commercialization and children expecting more and more each year. We need to focus on family, generosity, and practicing charitable giving, as Ivan said, and with more families relying on food banks, and it's estimated that 100,000 people will be relying on emergency food this Christmas, and this is expected to rise. So we need to get rid of these pressures, and pressures of buying food and presents and cards and decorating houses, and focus on the Christian principles.
Point of information. You say about the cards, but £50 million was raised for charity based on those Christmas cards you are trying to abolish. Where's the logic in that?
Well, obviously, if you're going to buy cards, like you don't.
£50 million.
Wait, so Amber, you're saying there's no other way of raising money than Christmas cards?
I'm saying it's proven to be a very good
Only
way.
in our society, if we change the traditions surrounding Christmas,
But
we
why
change the way money is
affect the
raised.
status quo when it's evidently working?
Because it's harmful to a lot of minority groups.
50 million
Minority.
pounds-
We're talking more. Is it more harmful?
£50 million is a minuscule percentage of the total revenue pulled in by Hallmark last year. That hit 3.5 billion.
ladies, gentlemen, girls and boys. What both opposition and proposition have been putting to you is statistics, have been telling you about how it harms society. But how does it harm you? Individually, we all celebrate Christmas, or in this case, we scrooge around and we don't get involved in the festivity.
Point of
But,
information.
no, thank you. But for everybody, it means something. The question, which I'd like to draw your attention to, says, does Christmas cause more harm than good? Evidently no, it does not cause more harm. We've seen already that £50 million was raised for charity cards. Other statistics help to prove this. I'd like to draw on what Dom said in his speech, if you like. Why should this culture feel obligated? I have never in my life felt obligated to do Christmas, to celebrate Christmas, whether it be for the cultural side or the religious side. This is about self-preservation, self-beliefs. If you want to celebrate it, you should be allowed to. And whether it benefits cultural, economical, ethical things, religious things, does that mean it's causing harm? No, of course it doesn't. I'd like to draw on a point that they said about money. 1 in 5 are still paying Christmas debts. When you say it like that, it sounds astonishing. But that is 20% people. 20. That is a minority, whether you like it or not. And the point is, it is not causing more harm than good. Both of my teammates have pulled on the economic and the charitable benefits that Christmas brings. And whether there is downsides like the food bank, whether there is downsides like some people feel socially depressed, which is only 10%, may I add, it's still not harmful.
Where's that statistic from? 10%?
I can give you where that's from. International YouGov poll, and the other one was from the International Labour Organisation.
So what was the actual thing? 10% of people what?
10% of people feel socially depressed around Christmas. 10%. Not 90.
So we should ignore the 10, right?
No, we should try and help them through the charitable organisations, through the festivities that come, through the generous givings that come through Christmas. Which I would like to close with the fact that whilst 54% feel that Christmas is overrated, 90% of British families put up Christmas trees each year. Whether my opposition can do the maths or not, I believe you can. So I put it to you to make your own decisions. Thank you.
Thank you to both teams there. We had passionate speeches from both sides. In a minute I'm going to open up to the floor to ask questions, but first I've got a question for this. Would you not argue that your argument is flawed somewhat by the fact that you've got one of your team members speaking about the Christian values of Christmas and the idea of Christmas being commercialised and taking that as a more important factor than the Christianity aspect? And yet you've got another teammate saying about how Christianity is being imposed upon all these people at Christmas and that they should be more respectful of other religions. Would you not argue that that is somewhat a flaw in your argument?
What we're saying is that the tradition of celebrating Christmas has taken a massive departure from the Christian values of goodwill and compassion that my opposition called upon, that it was originally based on. But at the same time, the fact that there is an immense disparity in recognition and prominence of Christmas in this multicultural society is wrong in comparison to the recognition that other religious festivals get.
Can we say so also? You get other countries that equally have things like strongly Islamic and Muslim countries. They celebrate things like Diwali on a much larger scale. Religious. Let's go with that.
Thank you. Right, I'm going to open up to the floor now. Has anyone got any questions they'd like to ask? You, and then I'll come over to you. Would you like to introduce yourself first?
Yeah, hi, I'm Maddie. I think most of you know me anyway. Yeah, my question is for the opposing team. You said that 90% of people in Britain put up a Christmas tree. Don't you think that's because of the pressure to assimilate? Or because, you know, like 90% of people don't put up a menorah when it's Hanukkah. Like, do you not feel as though that's come from societal pressures to assimilate with Christian values and Christian holidays?
Thank you. What I'll do is I'll take the other question, then we can answer them one after the other. Hi.
Hi, I'm Joseph. So this is for the proposition. So Black Friday is a result of Christmas, and no one mentioned the statistic that people die from Black Friday because people just get savage and they get trampled. So this year, 4 people died on Black Friday, so surely that's harmful.
Okay, so we'll do those 2 and then we'll come back and open it up to more questions afterwards. So, yeah, who wants to take that first question?
Okay, thank you. Maddie, was it? Yeah. Regarding the 90% statistic about trees, the way I see it is a celebration. I don't think someone dressed as Santa is going to come to your door with reindeer and say, put up a Christmas tree or the reindeer gets it. You know, I think you're encouraged to, but it's not obligatory at all. I mean, my family has never ever put up a Christmas tree, so I think it's a celebration. I mean, you could take Halloween, for example. Many people carve pumpkins. I don't feel a compulsion to do it. I feel like it's just a way of celebrating Halloween.
And we'll move on to the second question.
We'd just like to point out that Black Friday is about Thanksgiving, not Christmas, so we were kind of wondering where that came into it, though we will respond. With the sales and stuff, particularly in America, that's more of an issue when we're talking about our nationality and stuff. It's not really such an issue as being trampled on, because we do actually have restrictions, and you'll find a lot of, every time you go during sales, there's always at least 2 security guards by law hanging around to make sure nobody is doing that. So,
can I add to that? Sales don't occur all only at Christmas time. They occur at various points throughout the year. So your point would almost suggest to me that you're saying that you'd like to ban sales completely. So
Black Friday is the big sale of the year.
which is related to Thanksgiving.
Related to Thanksgiving rather than Christmas, that specific sale day.
Okay, thank you for that. Have we got any more questions? Yep.
Question. Don't need that. Sorry. Question to both opposition and for the motion. Should we be teaching our children and our public Christmas values, or should we be teaching them that is values we should hold, whether or not it is Christmas values or not? You could say that it's monetised and that we've lost the values, but in some way I'd say that we are almost forcing upon people charitable acts through guilt tripping them, through buckets at the supermarket. Should we teach people that charitable acts should be continuous throughout the year and not just a Christmas thing, and perhaps Christmas is guilt tripping people? So I'd say, if we remove Christmas, are we removing the monetisation, or are we removing the values? But I'd rather remove both and teach people the values of, let's say, a good person rather than any Christian action.
Okay, thank you. That's quite a big question, so we'll answer that now. I don't know which team wants to take it first. Do you want to take it first?
Sorry, what was your name?
James.
James, I completely agree with you. Yeah, I think the values behind Christmas, or at least the original Christian iteration of Christmas, are definitely values that this society should hold dear. But our argument is that the supposed celebration of those values that occurs annually at Christmas has undergone a massive departure from those values. And we're now in the territory of unscrupulous corporatism, which is not a value that we should uphold as a society. It's a festival that leads to the exploitation of thousands and thousands of working families. 310,000 households borrowed from loan sharks last year, 20% of whom borrowed for the Christmas season. And these are at rates of up to a staggering 131,000 APR. These people are watching their debts and their lives spiral out of control on account of the societal pressures exerted on them to cover their families' Christmas presents over the Christmas season.
Okay, thank you for that. We'll go to the opposition now on that question.
Okay, when you spoke about the teaching of the Christian views and the Christian values of Christmas, that's mandatory. It has to be 1 hour every 2 weeks. So that's that. And then also 83% of people will spend time with their family and friends.
Sorry, can I just get, sorry to interrupt you. Can I get clarification on that? Because I heard something from the proposition of my murmuring. The clarification on the 1 hour every 2 weeks that you were speaking about that.
On what? What exactly?
Did you school and you have to have, whether you call it personal development, it's PSHE.
What, promoting Christian values?
No. You have to have religious education 1 hour every 2 weeks.
And how is religious education?
You're arguing this, but this is the law, so can you please move on and get this going?
What's the law? We're asking for a clarification.
And I've given you one.
What is the law?
It is the law.
Okay, yeah, we'll move on from that.
And the majority will spend £100 to £299 on gifts this year. That might sound like a lot, it's actually not that much. if you're spending it on your family, your kids, it's,
but the major
it's
point,
that much.
Sorry to interrupt, okay. The major point is that there's encouragements and financial inducements like the big sales on Boxing Day and New Year's Day to encourage you to spend money, but you're not obligated to do it. You can still have a relatively cheap Christmas where you don't spend a great deal. It's up to you how you spend the money. At the end of the day, you're the one putting in the PIN number for your credit card, not society.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions? Yeah.
Hello. Okay. So you said that I don't know how you do it. You said that loan shark companies are charging like 120-something thousand APR, but first of all, that is illegal. So that's why a lot of companies, like if you see the ones on TV, they have lowered the APR even though it's still high. And also, if you don't have the means to pay a company back for the loan, then that you wouldn't be allowed to be accepted for the loan anyway. So
these
it's
are
not
not
as if
legitimate sources of loans. These are for people who, on their credit, cannot afford to go to legitimate sources to take loans. These are shady people who they don't operate under official documentation. They don't divulge their interest rates before the loan has been transacted. This is working people. This is poor people who are forced to go to illegitimate means for funding for their Christmas. These are socio-economic pressures. Christmas is omnipresent and it's inescapable. Regardless of your culture or your creed, you are expected to splash out for Christmas. Regardless. And you're looked down upon, you're frowned upon if you don't conform.
Okay, let's have a couple more questions. One.
Hi. I have a question for you guys. You see how you guys are talking about how it's no longer about being a Christian and Christianity. Don't you think that's better? Because, let's say, for example, if it was Eid, that was the most celebrated festival in the country, and it became commercialized, a Christian person will no longer feel like they can't access or weren't allowed to celebrate it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I understand what you're saying, but I think what we're saying the problem is it's not that people feel that they can't, it's not that Muslims or any other religion feel that they can't access Christmas. It's more that it's being put upon them from a young age. So someone who's been raised as a Muslim and their parents are Muslim, they don't want to be involved in anything Christian because it's not their personal belief. I think the fact that it's being imposed on them as a child in school is what we think is a problem.
Okay, thank you. Have we got one more question before we round it off and then we'll have to finish there? Do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Gary, but you know you're talking about that they're forcing Christmas on people, but then when I was in primary school, if people didn't want to celebrate Christmas, they didn't have to, they had alternate activities for them. So, but isn't it still good for people to be able to have the holiday to come together? Like sometimes, my family don't really celebrate Christmas that much. It's more about everyone coming together. Like we don't normally buy presents for each other. It's just about spending time together. Like, isn't that good? Because like everyone has the same time off, so everyone can be together at the same time.
Yeah, that's what we're proposing. Instead of having Christmas, we replace it with just a winter holiday, and so we wouldn't lose it. So just
Sorry, I'll come in with the last question before we finish off. If you're proposing having a winter holiday, would that not have the same implications as Christmas, which is under a different name? But the arguments you've come across...
It wouldn't put an emphasis on a particular origin in a multicultural society.
Okay, but that's only half the arguments you've put across. The other half are about financial implications.
We would take away the associations, give gifts and money and spend on decorations and everything like that.
Okay, well, the final point, ma'am, before we do the vote.
Whether you would or you wouldn't do that, that's beside the point. The motion still stands as does it do more harm than good at the moment?
Yeah,
which is why we're saying no, it doesn't, and whatever you would try and do doesn't have the right implications and shouldn't even be thought about.
Because we could change it and everything might change, and then we wouldn't have...
But is that answering the motion?
No, but, well, we have to make a decision, so what we would do instead.
Okay, thank you. Right. Sorry, cutting off a little bit rapidly. Okay. Right, so we're going to have a vote now from the audience. We've got this side and this side. It's simple hands up vote. So we'll wait till the judges have left. Theatre. Okay, so if you'd like to vote for the proposition on my left, put your hand up now, please. Okay. And for the opposition on my right-hand side. Okay. Do we need to count those? Okay. So we're just waiting for our judges' deliberations now, are we? Well, according to the audience vote, the opposition has strongly taken a strong victory. I don't think it's that deep, really. We're just waiting for the judges now.
If they vote differently, then it doesn't matter.
I'm not going to sing this song. Can we do a sing? The judges will be judging on... The judges are judging on the technicalities rather than their personal opinions. So, if they may provide a different outcome, we'll have to wait and see. Anyone know any Christmas songs?
Yeah.
That did for our science time. Okay.
Okay, we've spent a few minutes there debating ourselves. We thought the standard was very high this year. We enjoyed the debate enormously. For us, I'll come to who or which team we felt won the overall debate to the end. I'd like to go through all 6 speakers and give brief feedback. First of all, Dom started impressively. It was a joy to hear such lexical exuberance and such a well-articulated Marxist debate. Excellent. Rhetorically skillful, confident, and a gorgeous ironic tone. Well done, Dom. Lovely. Megan on the proposition team as well. Lovely use of a philosophical argument. We like that. And we've got the cultural debate going, which was great. You dealt with content from the other team directly. You started the process of addressing and pulling down arguments, which was lovely. Eye contact and direct address were also great. I found her very engaging. Medina, well done. You gave it a religious framework. You used statistics, which on your team, you were the first to bring in facts. And we wanted some facts. So well done. You gave us a framework and you had a very calm manner. Well done. On the other team, Ivan, tremendous start. You were methodical. You put forward a simple set of arguments which followed logically through. That was a joy. You dealt with capitalism in general. That was a good way of trying to counter the argument. Some nice rhetoric, use of anaphora. I enjoyed that. Well done. And you had a dry and quite intense manner about you. I like that. You were into the lectern there, concentrating very well. You also directed your conversation straight at Dom for part of it, and that was good. Showed some confidence. Cheney, you got the facts in. I like that. Lots of factual evidence, really helpful. You had a good framework for what you were saying. We liked that very much. And again, you were calm and you recovered well from the hijack. Well done. There were a few of those in the debate and you pulled it back. Well done. Amber, confident, strident in your tone. Lovely. You summarised previous points articulately. You brought the argument together very well. Again, good use of statistics. We like that. You got the focus back onto the motion, which was good, and a nice attempt at rhetoric along the way. Yeah, confident. We enjoyed your performance. You directly addressed us. Overall, you guys got stuck in circles on charity and religion. And I think perhaps there was more to this debate. In terms of charity, perhaps you could have widened it out to charity in general. Does charity do more harm than good? Is that the argument? In fact, the issue of harm, I don't think you really dealt with. I think there could have been more on that word. That was the key word, I thought, in the motion. So we could have come back to that a little bit more. Also, Don, you told us that Christmas has deviated from what it historically was, and yet none of us took the time to explore what Christmas was. We didn't have that framework explored either. Nonetheless, it was a very confident and well-articulated debate. I came in wanting Christmas to win. I like Christmas. I was very persuaded initially by Don and then well supported by the rest of the team. Well done. However, in the end, we felt that the argument for the opposition was ultimately stronger.
Looks like that's a resounding victory for the opposition then. Well done to both teams. Dom, Megan, Dina, Cheney, I've done that wrong order, Cheney, Amber and Ivan. Thank you to our judges, particularly Simon, for your verdict and for helping us out with this. And thank you to the audience for getting involved and making this possible. We'd love to see any of you that are interested along in debating societies on Monday lunchtime in the boardroom, that one. If not, then we'll see you again next year. Thank you very much.